It's the Visitors Challenge Cup. It's Allemannia v Harvard and Harvard University. It's their B crew. They are on the right of your screen, and on the left of your screen, it's Ruderclub Allemannia von 1866 Hamburg, Deutschland. And if you understood that, the crew that comes from Hamburg in Germany is what I meant. They're on the left of your screen, and the Harvard B crew are being warned straight away.
See, and this is the problem being a coxswain sport. As we just saw in the race before, you had a cox steering the boat. This is the guys have to do it themselves. One of them will have a steering foot, and sometimes you get drawn into the crew you're racing if you keep looking at them, or the bank as it moves towards you or away from you kind of makes you draw into it or away from it. So, you know, you must keep focused, and it's really interesting. Every time at the start people do that, and all they've got to do is look up because the boards are behind you and it keeps you in a straight line.
Yeah, I think it's that looking up that does me, because you can see the yellow balls there, and I think it's taking a breath and looking up, but everything's going on in your head, and maybe that's not the most obvious thing, despite what you think you might do before the regatta. But here's a race, because the Germans led off, and now the Harvard University B crew have actually sprinted through and look to have taken a canvas lead as we come past Remnant Club.
Well, Harvard have such a massive tradition and history at the regatta. They've been coming, well, I can't go back as long as they have, but they've been so successful so many times. So many legends have come from there. So, you know, they do understand about this event and how much of a big deal it is to them back at home.
The Harvard crew, coached by Billy Boyce and Michael Bartman. And, well, there's a great shot, isn't it, of the Harvard crew, the Harvard stroke man, Conor Mangan. And very distinctive cap behind him of his three-man.
And what's interesting, that this is the first time this event's coming to the regatta. It's the Thursday, it's the first race of this particular event, and these crews would never probably race each other, so they kind of get on the start. It's quite nervous, they don't know what to expect. No, they've never competed against each other, where normally if you race locally or domestically, you'd have kind of matched up against these crews at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we're here, it's our second day, but these guys, it's their very first race at the regatta. The Visitors, of course, is a smaller event, it's a high standard event, so there are less crews, and they begin their racing on Thursday. Hence maybe the early nerves from that Harvard crew. And if you remember watching the start, the Harvard crew on the right of your picture now had that funny steering problem at the start, went behind to the Germans in red and white now on the right of your screen as we look on the head-on shot. And then they crafted that middle part of the race beautifully to move through into what looks like a race-winning lead.
They have to be careful with their steering though, because if they move across and start to impede the other crew, as you can see, the umpires warning them, asking them to move back to their station. Sometimes, you know, you can move across, you know, and that's the great thing about Henley. There is lanes, but you can actually drift over and just give them some dirty water, off-put their rhythm a little bit, and just eat out a few more feet for not putting much more effort in.
I like to see the umpire working for his money. That's Richard Stanhope, of course, and Richard Stanhope, the umpire here, has got two of his boys racing in the regatta, both in the Temple Challenge Cup for 8s. James Stanhope, the 6-man for Oxford Brook's A crew, and Ollie Stanhope rose at 5 in the Hampton School Temple Cup, which went out yesterday. But we are watching the Harvard B crew in their very distinctive blue boats. We're not sure if it's a Polish boat or they've borrowed it, rented it from Poland in the World Championships, but they are coming through to the finish, and very lively they are too. They will go on to race in Friday's heats, and the Germans, well, they've steered all the way over to the other side of the river, and they cross the line now in wrong station, but yeah, it's a Hudson boat that USA crew are using, the Canadian boat manufacturer, and they cheer, and we will see both of these crews tomorrow.